Hello and welcome to Liverpool Transfer Daily from Blood Red. Very, very soon we'll have more than just transfer rumours to bring to you. Sorry, I think I might have jumped the gun there. So let's go from now. Hello and welcome to Liverpool Transfer Daily from Blood Red. And apologies if I've accidentally given you the intro twice, but just thrilled to see you all. Very soon we will have much more than just transfer content to bring you because it's the first day of pre-season. But that doesn't stop the transfer rumour mill, which has been grinding on. And we have some interesting stories today. One outgoing, one incoming. We'll start with the outgoing story, Ben, where it's suggested that Juventus remain very keen on Roberto Firmino and believe they can get him for less than £20 million. Firstly, do you think that sounds like a fair valuation?
I mean, if we're looking at Mane's departure, then not particularly. I feel like Firmino should be at least close to that value. Maybe 25, 30 million. Liverpool would feel confident even with just a year left on his contract. The destination, though, definitely feels like one that's possible. Juventus have lost Dybala, and Firmino feels like the right sort of replacement for Dybala. But I'm still not convinced if Firmino is going to leave the club. I feel like he may extend.
And do you think so? You think he may extend? Do you think that's coming from the club side in terms of you think they'll want to keep him around, or just in terms of you think Firmino will want to stay longer?
I think both, really. I think Firmino will want to stay longer because there's no better club to be at, really. Anywhere else he'll go, it will be a sort of downgrade, even at Juventus, because if you look at Juventus, they're not really They don't really have any chance of competing for the Champions League final. Even in Italy, they kind of lost hegemony there, and the two Milan sides seem to be dominating the league again. And then from Liverpool's perspective, Firmino is, I think, still one of the better attackers in the team. He's someone who can offer multiple roles. He's very versatile. And for those reasons, I think Liverpool would probably like to keep him. He'd offer experience, versatility, and I can see him lasting longer at the club because as well, like last season when he was sort of playing a sporadic role, he had that knack for making an impact from the bench. I think he got 7 or 8 goal contributions coming off the bench, which was a pretty big portion of his entire total goals last season. So in that regard, he could be a very impactful bench player, and with the 5 substitutions as well, he'll get plenty of opportunities as long as he stays injury-free next season.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Like you say, he wouldn't have played quite as much as he would have wanted last season. We've touched upon it before in terms of the potential change of formation going into the new season. I suppose we'll know more about it very soon with pre-season about to get underway. But that could be something that could really prolong Firmino's life at Liverpool, couldn't it? In that sort of number 10 role in a 4-2-3-1.
I think everything just depends on his injury. Like last season was a bit of an anomaly for him in terms of his injury records. He had, I think, 3 or 4 muscle injuries throughout the campaign. And obviously that's why he didn't play a lot. But if he can stay fit and if he can, if that was really just an anomaly and it's not a trend and it's not something that he's going to experience more as he gets older, then I think there's the opportunity for him to prolong his career in any position is a viable option, because in terms of Firmino, unlike, for example, Mane or even Salah, his game doesn't rely on pace as much and the physical aspects. It's more sort of the technical skills, and he'll retain that technical ability. going into his late 30s. Obviously, he'll lose a bit of pace like Mane. And Mane, we saw Mane sort of lose a bit of pace towards the end of his Liverpool career. And that will happen to Firmino as well. But I don't think it will impact his game as much as it did with Mane.
Yeah, there was reports a few weeks ago that said people at the club still reckon he has the best touch in the entire squad. So, yeah, you don't lose that kind of technique. But from potential outgoings to potential future incomings, not directly to do with Liverpool, but apparently West Ham are keeping a close eye on Arnaut Danjuma, a name which will be familiar to Liverpool fans. Those links haven't really gone away. They were heavily rumoured to be interested before he made the switch from Bournemouth to Villarreal. He had a good season at Villarreal, as Liverpool will know well, came up against him in the Champions League where he impressed. And yet, almost inevitably, really, now some Premier League clubs have come knocking, West Ham among them. Do you think that could be the sort of stepping stone move that would see Liverpool continue to monitor him?
I mean, yeah, you only have to look at Jarrod Bowen last season. That's someone who Liverpool liked. But going into West Ham, it pretty much, I think, seals his fate in terms of his transfer value. I mean, last summer Liverpool could have got him for around 20 million, under 20 million. Obviously, he went to Villarreal. His price has increased threefold almost. And going to West Ham, I can see that price increasing even more if he is a success there. So I think that pretty much makes him inaccessible to Liverpool in terms of the money that they would be willing to spend on a new attacker. And Liverpool are well stocked in that department as well. I feel like even though he had a fairly successful season with Villarreal, the Liverpool scouting department will still feel confident that they made the right decision last summer of not going in for him. And I do think there are better suited attackers for that Liverpool front line. And but in terms of for Danjuma, it is a good move. I think he will want to test himself in the Premier League again. Obviously, had a short spell with Bournemouth. He did well in the Championship, and with West Ham, it's interesting if where he'll play really, whether he'll be a number 9 because he can play that number 9, number 10, he can play left and right. It would be a fascinating move to see how he fits in with the likes of Jarrod Bowen and the rest of that attack.
Yeah, you mentioned Liverpool won't really have any regrets about it, and I think that's kind of proved by the identity of who's going for Danjuma now, because West Ham, by all accounts, were interested in Luis Diaz, who Liverpool ended up getting. I'm pretty sure they were interested in Darwin Nunez at one stage as well. So, Danjuma is, he's progressed in the last year, but I suppose the reality of it is he was some way down the list of targets at West Ham, and the players who they'd identified as better were the players who Liverpool had also identified as better and ultimately went out and bought. So, would you say that on the whole, Darwin Nunez? I mean, obviously the price points are very different. So, but as a pure number 9, would you say that that's more what Liverpool needed, having already secured Diaz?
Yeah, I think Nunez coming in is the sort of, I think, direction Liverpool want to go in. I know it feels like Liverpool's hands are forced with Mane's departure to make an attacking signing, but Danjuma would have been available for a lot less, and Liverpool still went for Nunez. So it feels like that's Liverpool do want to kind of make a new evolution of sorts in the front line, and Nunez would be Nunez is the man really. He's probably one of the best young forwards in the world, and he's earned comparisons to Haaland for a reason, and he had a pretty prolific campaign last year, much more prolific than Danjuma, albeit in probably a slightly inferior league. But I do think his Champions League record is there for everyone to see, and I think that's what swung it for Liverpool. Obviously, it helped that he scored in both legs against Liverpool as well. Whereas Danjuma didn't really stand out when Liverpool faced Villarreal in the Champions League.
Yeah, don't let Julian Ward hear you say that about the Portuguese league, the new feeder league for Liverpool. But yeah, I think, like you say, no regrets on Liverpool's side. But it would definitely be interesting to see how Danjuma gets on if he does move to the Premier League. I think that'll just about do us. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back again with more transfer stories and hopefully with the first bits and pieces from pre-season tomorrow. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and be sure to check out our content on Liverpool.com and on the Blood Red channel.